Welcome to 5 Points of Articulation. The 5 points I discuss are packaging, presentation, poseability, playability, and price. I'm Jason, and for the month of January, we're gonna spotlight Batman's arch nemesis, the clown prince of crime, the Joker. Today, Joker Month continues with a look at the DC Multiverse 3 Jokers, the Clown. Starting off with the packaging, and it's pretty much the same as every other DC Multiverse box. Name and logo, UPC. Hold that thought, by the way, because we're going to come back to this. And a pretty cool picture of Joker on the back. For packaging, I'm giving this Joker 1 whole point. Moving on to presentation, and the clown version of the Joker stands at 7¼ inches. When McFarlane Toys showed off the 3 Jokers on Batman Day last year, this was the one that I was honestly the least interested in. The head was too big, and the eyes were just too close and beady. Most importantly, I really did not like the color scheme. Having this bright fuchsia jacket was bad enough, but these dull lavender pants absolutely just do not go together. And then you add the even brighter pink flower on top of it, and it just seems like too much. Getting it in hand, in my opinion, while still not glowing, is a bit more positive. Seeing it in person, and I honestly like the head. In fact, the face is exactly the same as the comedian version, except that this one doesn't have a hat. That means that you can put this on this for a hatless option, which you know I'm going to show you during playability. Additionally, having just reviewed the Mortal Kombat version, there are a few things I appreciate. Don't get me wrong, I absolutely love this figure, but I much prefer the way the shirt is sculpted and more importantly articulated on this one. I'm also pleasantly surprised by the lack of texture detailing on the pants. Considering how overly textured all the other McFarlane Jokers are, this is a refreshing change. In fact, there's almost no texture on this figure at all, which for a McFarlane is kinda weird. I dare say it almost looks cheap. That said, I'm still not overly crazy about the color scheme, but I have had a slight change of heart. Here's the new Joker alongside the Superpowers and Dark Knight Collection version of the Joker from Kenner. This new version almost feels like a combination of the two. You've got the two-tone suit with the vibrant pink, but also that classic dull lavender with the green shirt and the black tie. Even the hair. To my eye, it looks like this. And then if you throw in the Toy Biz one, what do you see? A big pink flower. If you were an 80s kid, these were your 3 Jokers. And this clown feels like a celebration of all 3. And even if I don't like it, this particular shade of pink also has a pretty special significance to the Joker. Cesar Romero. This is absolutely a very grown-up version of this. So does that mean that I've been completely won over? No, the head, while creepy, is kinda big. And just because I can see how the colors pay homage to previous incarnations of the character doesn't mean it looks good. If it was all pink or all lavender, that'd be fine. Instead, it's just busy. For presentation, I'm giving this Joker 1/2 point. Moving on to poseability and Joker's heads on a dumbbell joint. You can look up this much. Pretty decent down, little bit of tilt, and all the way around. Swivel hinge shoulders raise up just about 90 degrees, front and back with the rotator cuff, bicep swivel, double jointed elbows, and the McFarlane wrist balls. They swivel and hinge. Moving on down, the Joker has a diaphragm joint. He can definitely arch back a lot more than the Mortal Kombat version, and he can hunch over a fair bit as well. Just be careful if you arch him back too much. He's also got a dumbbell joint in the waist, lets him twist and tilt. Below the waist, he's got McFarlane hips. They kick out 90 degrees, pretty great spread, and a really good amount of swivel. Just be warned that even as DC Multiverse figures go, these are pretty gappy, and they bunch up really easy. Moving on down, the Joker has double jointed knees, as well as the McFarlane ankle ball. They can hinge forward and back, spin around, and pivot. And of course, toticulation. This is possibly the best articulated Joker figure that McFarlane Toys has given us so far. It's so good, in fact, that I honestly wouldn't mind if this became McFarlane Toys' standard Joker body moving forward. For poseability, I'm giving this Joker 1 whole point. Before we continue, just a quick reminder that we're still giving away a 3 Jokers comedian figure to 1 lucky subscriber. More about that at the end of the video. Moving on to playability, and the clown comes with a trading card and a figure stand. If you want to know what it says, pause here. He also comes with this Joker fish, which is pretty awesome. I mean, just look at how cool and creepy this thing is. The paintwork is kind of sloppy though. What's less awesome is this crowbar. I've said it before and I'll say it again, I am sick to death of seeing Joker figures come with a crowbar. That said, this is the version of the Joker that beat Jason Todd half to death with one, so it does make sense. And if you're wondering, it's the exact same version that came with the comedian. But playability is more than just accessories, it's also about how well your figure plays with others. Of course, we've already seen these 3 by Kenner and Toy Biz, but for another Kenner comparison, here we have Legends of the Dark Knight. This was the very first 7-inch Joker figure, and here we have DC Superheroes by Hasbro, which was the very first 6-inch one. Moving from Hasbro to Mattel, we have the DC Universe Classics, notice the pinstripe pants, and then for a DC Direct comparison, we have the Alex Ross version, and then for a McFarlane Toys comparison, we've got Arkham Asylum, Rebirth, Mortal Kombat 11, and the Three Jokers Comedian. Looking at them side by side, there's actually a lot of reuse between them. The hands, for example, are the same sculpt, as are the shirt and tie, and the legs and feet. Since he's a more Silver Age-inspired Joker, here he is with a Silver Age Batman by DC Direct. This is, in fact, the very first Batman that DC Direct ever made. Zipping ahead a few years, here he is with a Killing Joke Batman. For one last blue and gray comparison, here he is with the Nightfall version by DC Essentials. Personally, I think these two look great together, but if black and gray is your thing, here he is with a Battle Damage version. Of course, if all black is your thing, here he is with a Michael Keaton version by NECA. With some creative force perspective, you could definitely make it work. And for a Robin comparison, here he is with the DC Universe Classics, and a DC Direct Robin to go with the Silver Age Batman. It's worth noting that both of these are Dick Grayson, but for that Jason Todd flair, here he is with the Red Hood. For a Batgirl comparison, we've got DC Essentials and Art of the Crime by McFarlane Toys. And don't you worry, we're gonna get to this Batgirl soon enough. Since he Jokerized one in the comic, here he is with a shark. For a relative scale comparison, here he is with Pizza Spidey and the Spectacular Spider-Man. And of course, here he is with Stealth Iron Man. So do you want to see some head swaps? Oh, who am I kidding? Of course you do. First up, we've got the clown body with the Mortal Kombat 11 head. This might just be my favorite Joker face sculpt, and I really like it on this body. But speaking of Mortal Kombat 11, here's that body with the comedian head, and whoo-hoo! This looks really good. Like, this is darn near perfect. But for perfect, take a look at this. This is amazing! Here's the hat version on the clown body, and just no. There's already too many colors in here, and that one is just one color too many. That said, the clown body on the Mortal Kombat head's pretty cool. Definitely has a menacing edge. But just take a look at the Mortal Kombat head on the comedian body. You ever dance with the devil by the pale moonlight? The nice thing about this Joker is that he is simultaneously modern and vintage. And hey, do you remember that UPC code I said I'd come back to? Notice what it says. Not the clown, but death in the family. This figure's meant to be a representation of that classic story, just like the comedian's based off the Killing Joke. And yet, thanks to the Three Jokers story, this figure is also strangely contemporary. In a way, that makes this figure kinda timeless. He also evokes Nicholson's Joker, which we honestly might never see at this scale. For playability, I'm giving this Joker 1 whole point. This leaves us with nothing left to discuss but the price. I got this Joker at Target for $19.99, which is a lot less than the price Batman had to pay. Too soon? I might not like everything about this figure, but overall, I love that Joker. For price, I'm giving this clown 1 whole point for a grand total of 4.5 out of 5. If you want a shot at winning a new in-box comedian version of the Joker, check out my video on the Mortal Kombat 11 Joker. The deadline for submitting is January 31st, so definitely don't delay. I'll be back again real soon, but until then, play nice and have fun.